Vasudevaya. Om Namo Bhagavate Vasudevaya. Narayanam Namaskrityam Naram Chaiva Narottamam Devim Saraswatim Vyasam Tato Jayam Mudirayet. Nashtaprayeshu Abhadreshu Nityaṁ bhāgavata-sevayā. Bhagavati uttamashloke bhaktir bhavati nashtaki. Ārādhayo bhagavāna vrajeshu tanayas tadhāma vrindavanam. Ramya kāchitupāsana vrajavadhu vargena vā kalpita. Śrīmad-Bhāgavatam pramānamamalam prema pamartho mahān. Śrī Caitanya Mahāprabhu matamidam Tatradharana Paraha. Jai Shri Krishna Chaitanya Prabhu Nityananda Shri Advaita Gadadhar Shivasadi Gaura Bhakta Vrinda. Hare Krishna Hare Krishna 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 Hare 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 Rama Hare Rama 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 Hare Hare. Hare Krishna, dear worshipable devotees, thank you so much for joining. We are reading Granth Raj Srimad-Bhāgavatam, Canto 10, Chapter 9, and we read till text number 10 yesterday. We were discussing the differences between the Jnanis or yogis, not referring to bhakti yogis, but Jnanis, Dhyanis, whose prime focus is knowledge, liberation, etc. On contrast with bhaktas, Krishna bhakta, who are very, very rare, very, very. And we are blessed to be following that Gaudiya Vaishnava Parampara, where the focus is on loving, devotional service. So with that, let's move forward and proceed to the next verse, which is text number 11. Yes, Vipul Prabhu, you want to read this verse, please?
Sure. Yes. Thank you, devotees. Dhamma Pranam to all devotees, all those who Śrīla Prabhupada. Text 11. Krita gasamtam porod antam akshini kashantam anjan moshini sha panina udbhikaksha manam bhayo vihalekshanam haste gita vishanti abhagurat. Translation purport by His Divine Grace A.C. Bhaktivedanta Swami Prabhupada Śrīla Prabhupada ki Jai. Translation. When caught by Mother Yashoda, Krishna became more and more afraid and admitted to being an offender. As she looked upon him, she saw that he was crying, his tears mixing with the black ointment around his eyes. And as he rubbed his eyes with his hands, he smeared the ointment all over his face. Mother Yashoda, catching her beautiful son by the hand, mildly began to chastise him. Purport. From these dealings between Mother and Yashoda and Krishna, we can understand the exalted position of a pure devotee in loving service to the Lord. Yogis, Jnanis, Kurmis, and Vedantis cannot even approach Krishna. And by service. Even the most powerful Jamaraj fears Krishna. Therefore, as we find in the history of Ajamil, Jamaraj instructed his followers not even to approach the devotees. What to speak of capturing them? In other words, Jamaraj also fears Krishna and Krishna's devotees. Yet this Krishna became so dependent on Mother Yashoda that when she simply showed Krishna the stick in her hand, Krishna admitted to being an offender and began to cry like an ordinary child. Mother Yashoda, of course, did not want to chastise her beloved child very much, and therefore she immediately threw her stick away and simply rebuked Krishna, saying, "Now I shall bind you so that you cannot commit any further offensive activities. Not for the time being, can you play with your playmates. Not for the time being can you play with your playmates." This shows the position of a pure devotee. In contrast with others like Gyanis, Yogis, the followers of Vedic ritualistic ceremonies, in regarding the transcendental nature of the absolute truth. Very nice, Prabhupada. So here we see that when Lord is very far away from the Yogis, Gyanis, Komis, and Vedantis, even their most austerities, penances, but devotees how easily can do interact with Lord, and Lord also reciprocates them always in loving presently interaction. So Prabhuji, one more thing I found in Gita while reading, that in the 4.3 verse, even this is the fourth verse is transcendental, fourth chapter is transcendental knowledge. And here Krishna says that that very ancient science of a relationship with the Supreme is today told by me to you because you are my devotee. Even Lord will not give this knowledge if one doesn't become a devotee. Back to Prabhuji.
Very nice. Thank you so much, Prabhu, for reading this beautiful verse. Why do we do any activity? Why do people do any activity? Any thoughts on that? Let's list some reasons. We all do activities. What is the motivation?
Yeah.
Yes,
I was going to say
Prabhu?
to achieve some goal.
Okay. So basically to get something, right? To achieve something.
Yes.
For example, very common example of this is, why do most people do work or do job or business? To get money, right? Everyone agrees with that? There may be a few exceptions. They may be they say, okay, my prime aim of doing work or job is something else. It's not money. Maybe few people may be like that, but majority are in this category, right? Hare Krishna?
Prabhu. It meets Devaki Mataji.
Yes.
Sorry again, changing. As it to fulfill certain desires, no?
To fulfill desires, right? So, okay, let's write that. So to achieve something, right? That was one reason. To fulfill desires. What else? And in activity, you can include anything. It could be work, it could be material, spiritual, anything.
Prabhuji, it ultimately Prakriti makes us work. We feel hungry, that's why we go for the work to earn money. We put clothes because it's cold, that makes us put our clothes on us.
Yes, so that's under the spell of the three modes, which will apply to all these. Either that's a very good point, that we are under the spell of the three modes. Prakriti makes us work. Very nice. What else? One very common reason is
for happiness.
For happiness.
for happiness. Someone said that. Who said that?
To achieve happiness. Devaki Mataji.
Okay. And Gandhi Prabhu also said, right? Happiness? Right. Okay, we'll write that.
Also
This
to,
is Mhm.
to increase awareness for any kind of activity, to increase the awareness.
Awareness. Can you give an example?
Like suppose suppose in a material sense, like blood drive, when people does this blood drive to get blood, and which will help the community. So that's why the people should aware that they didn't need to give blood
Mhm.
in material sense.
Okay, awareness. All these are correct. One very, very big reason is, which is missing here, is fear. Out of fear. Right? If we don't do this, then we'll be punished. Or if we do this, we'll be punished, right? If we break the law, we will be punished. If we break the universal law, we'll be punished. So better I don't do this or do this, whatever. There are certain do's and don'ts. If we break the traffic signal, we'll be punished. So talking more specifically, so there are a few reasons. One is basically fear. Then second is to get something, right? It could be money, it could be happiness, it could be security, it could be awareness, happiness. They all come in. There is some desire, some motivation. But then the topmost category is out of love, right? So if we have to mark these, we will mark this one as lowest, or maybe you should do the opposite. This is as 3. All these can be put in category 2. And this one is number 1. That's the highest. Like, why a mother takes care of the child? If she does not do, will the child beat her? Will the child scold her? So that's not fear, right? You agree? Of course, happiness, I mean, there's no desire like there. There's no like selfish desire. Of course, love, happiness can be linked here, but the category 2 is basically to fulfill some desires, to achieve something, to get something. The child is not going to give money. The child is not going to give her, roses or some name, fame, adoration. The main reason is out of selfless love, concern, happen to give selfless happiness. So this is how even in spiritual life, why do most people, go to temple? For even those who go, most people don't even have any spiritual element. But for those who have spiritual element in their lives, majority are in the 3rd category, fear. Right? Do you agree? Oh, if you do this, God will punish. Right? Be fearful of God. Like Yamaraj here, as Prabhupada is mentioning, even the most powerful Yamaraj fears Krishna. Prabhupada is referring in the purport. And majority of those who have little spiritual sense, like let's say 2-3% of the population, those who still have some spiritual sense, those who go to some temple, some higher power they believe in, majority they believe in is because God will punish. If we do wrong thing, God will punish. So better, do right thing. But here, and even the demigods, their relationship with Krishna is quite formal. Mm. Like offering big prayers. So their relationship is also mixed between category 3 and 2. Mm. We don't see Krishna playing with Indra like how he plays with his friends. Right? We see Indra so many times asking, hey, I need this help, hey, I need this help, asking big prayers. You are great, you are Mahan, you are Ishvara Param, Brahma also, right? So that playful, loving relationship is with the pure devotees or bhaktas, like Arjuna, as we discussed yesterday also, as Mata Yashoda here, Mata Kunti, and many others. So this is the position of a pure devotee. So the position of a pure devotee is glorified in this verse. The Supreme Lord fear personifies, fears him. Even Yamaraj, whom everyone is fearful of Krishna. Sun and moon are fearful of the Lord. But that Lord today is crying. That Supreme Lord is crying. Why? Because of the fear. Because he has been caught red-handed. And Prabhupada is saying, Krishna became more and more afraid and admitted to being an offender. And this is very much linked to the second verse of Damodara Ashtakam. So maybe one of you can read that. Anyone wants to read second verse and then the translation also?
I can read for you.
Yes, ma'am.
Rudantam muhurnitra yugmam mrijantam karam bhojayugmena satanka netram muhuswasakam patrirekanka kantha stita graiva damodaram bhaktibadhyam. Seeing the weeping stick in mother's hand, he is crying and rubbing his eyes again and again with his two lotus hands. His eyes are filled with fear, and the necklace of pearls around his neck, which is marked with 3 lines like a conch shell, is shaking because of his quick breathing due to crying to the Supreme Lord, Sri Damodara, whose belly is bound not with ropes but with his mother's pure love. I offer my humble obeisances.
Isn't that amazing? His quick breathing, he's crying, the mascara of his eyes is mixed with his tears, is flowing through his cheek, it's coming on his cheek, the black. This is a beautiful, meditation. And in ISKCON, we celebrated the whole month. Radha Damodar temple was the hub of the Gaudiya Vaishnavas, is the hub, because that was the place where all the Goswamis used to meet and discuss Harikatha. That is a place with the samadhi of so many acharyas, including Rupa Goswami. That is that is a place where Prabhupada's quarters are also there. He spent considerable time before coming to United States over there. Prabhupada writes, Radha Damodar temple is like a spiritual epicenter for the universe. So this Damodar Leela, which we are reading now, how sweet this interaction is. It's beyond our comprehension. And this is what, this is The Lord likes this more than big stuti, right? Any verse ringing in anyone's mind? Recently we read that in Chaitanya Śrī Caitanya-caritāmṛta. Even because
So what about the birds? I missed that point.
that the Lord likes the chastisement from his devotees more than big verses and all that.
তুমি আমি সম
Tumi kona bada log, tumi
and
ami
hino.
sama. Yes, that's certainly one of those. I'm trying to find that Adi Leela. Okay, let me open that for quickly so we can read it.
It was 1.4.21. আপনাকে বড় মানে আমারে সমহীন সেইভাবে হই আমি তার অধীন।
I found it. Okay. Yes, this was the one. That was more about Sakhya. This is more about Vatsalya. 24. So let's read this. Anyone wants to read? This is from Chaitanya Caritāmṛta. Lakshay, Prabhu.
Text 24. Matamora putra bhave kare na bandhana ati hina nane kara kare lalana falana. Translation. Mother sometimes binds me as her son. She nourishes and protects me, thinking me utterly helpless. Hare Kṛṣṇa Prabhu.
Then beautiful and so nicely fitting in this connection. This is how we should study scriptures. We should not just read scriptures. Prabhupada said we should study his books. We should try to see, okay, where did I read something very similar? This is so nicely fitting. Do you all agree that this fits very nicely in connection to what we are reading? So this is what like Krishna likes that. In the previous verses we read about his Leela with friends. In the next verse is there about the friends thing. My friends climb on my shoulders in pure friendship, saying, what kind of big man are you? Tumi kona bada lo? You think you're big? You think you're badel? Tumi ami some, you're same, we're equals. You're not a big person's, boy. What do you think? You are the son of the king? We are equals. Mata more putra bhave kare na bandhana ati hi na jnane kare lalana palana ati hina. Thinking this is for a poor child. Poor, not like literally, like not like poor means as one who needs help. Like a child needs help. Child needs attention. Child needs support. Not poor like by, oh, he does not have anything to eat. Basically, the poor means he's dependent on me. Ati hina, he's my dependent. Kare, and with that mentality, Krishna's mother is not thinking he is a supreme, that my child is a supreme lord. Then how can we do lalan palan? Krishna's mother is not thinking, oh, he is the Om to Purushottam Bhagwan, he is the one who will protect us, he is the one who will do our lalan palan. Mata is thinking, I have to do the lalan palan. Lalan is to nourish, palan means to protect. That's how she was very protective about Krishna, like a mother, caring, concerned for the welfare, doing everything to please Krishna, to serve Krishna. This is what Krishna likes. Kare, maybe you all can try to memorize this verse. Maybe we all can say it to one. It'll be nice to remember. Very nice, sweet verse. Mata more putra bhave kare na bandhana. You know, Damodar Lila is coming. It's a nice, nice reflection, meditation. Mata more. Chaitanya Mahaprabhu is speaking this actually. Mata more putra bhave, putra bhav mein करे न बंधना, बांध देती है, अति ही न जाने, अतिहीन मानती है, करे लालन न पालन. Anyone wants to recite, seeing or without seeing, to try? Yes, Mataji, want to try? Ishitipti Mataji, you can try.
माता मोरे पुत्र भावे करे न बंधना, अति ही न जाने करे लालन पालन.
Very well, very nice. Devki Mataji?
Hare Krishna. Mata more putra bhave kare na bandhan, ati hi na vyane kare lalana palana.
Well,
Krishna.
who has memorized it? Not very hard, right? Please try to memorize it.
Prabhuji, I can.
Yes,
I
yes,
memorize.
yes, please try.
মাতা মোরে পুত্র ভাবে করেন বন্ধন, অতিহীন জ্ঞানে করেন লালন পালন.
Very nice, very nice. Not very hard. Please, everyone try to memorize. One or two more devotees want to recite. We should keep using memory. Don't think, oh, I'm 40 years old. Don't think I'm 50, 60. If we don't use our memory, it will, whatever muscle we don't use, it will go bad. Very simple. Like we have to use our hands and, legs to keep them healthy. So we should try to memorize whatever, irrespective of our age, right? Then because these days, we are not using that memory skill. We think it's only kids stuff. Don't think it's only kids stuff to memorize, right? So whatever we try, we can do it. It may take more time, which is fine, but at least we are trying. Yes, someone raised his or her hand. Please try to seeing or without seeing. Yes, Vipul bro, you want to try?
माता मोरे पुत्र भावे करे न बंधन, अतिहीन ज्ञाने करे लालन पालन.
Very nice. Sudhir bro, you memorized it?
No, Prabhuji, but I can try.
Try.
Thank you. Hare Krishna devotees, then. Mate more putra bhave kare na bandhana, ati hi na jane kare lalana palana. Thank you.
Yes, Pradeep Prabhuji wants to try. Sorry, I forgot your initiated name, Prabhu. Please forgive me. Yes, please.
Matamore putra bhava Bunam Atihinam Janam Kare Lanan Palanam. Sorry, Prabhuji, थोड़ा मुझे दिखाई दी की प्रॉब्लम है.
नहीं, बहुत अच्छा बोला.
Hare Krishna, Prabhu.
Thank you. And then when we understand the meaning, it gets even easier to remember, right? Mata more putra bhave karena bandhana, atihina jnane kare lalana palana. Right? Everyone understands the meaning of each word here, or not too hard, right? Lakshya, you got the meaning for each word? Lakshya, you memorized it? Okay, you paraphrase this verse. You know what's paraphrase
Yeah.
in English?
Lord Chait, I forgot who's speaking this was, but they're saying,
Basically, Krishna is speaking, or Chaitanya Mahaprabhu is speaking.
so he's saying, a mother thinks that a mother thinks that her son is poor or like helpless, so she like that's like the main point, and she's like thinking that her son needs to be like helped from like nurturing and supporting and like in like
Very
ways.
Very good, very good. And in that way, she binds. She even punishes Krishna, right? She's holding the stick in her hand as we go back to the original verse. She's holding the stick. And Krishna is very fearful just to lower, you know, now when a person commits an offense, and in the court of law, if they say, hey, Rama wants to read verse. Rama, you want to read? Came to read verse? Okay, Rama will read. Go ahead. Rama, Prabhu.
Yeah.
Mata more putra bhave karan bandhana atina jane kare lalana palana.
Very well. Excellent.
Thank you.
So Rama will answer this question. Will you answer?
Okay, I'll try to.
You'll try. Okay. Have you ever, have you ever done anything wrong and your mother has caught you doing
Yeah.
wrong?
Yeah.
Okay. And then if you say lie, let's say you did something wrong and you're not supposed to do, and your mother or father catches you. And if you cook up a story, right, the punishment will increase, trying to defend yourself or justify, I did not do that. But if you say, I'm really sorry, and please forgive me. I agree that what do you think punishment will be more, in the first case or the second case?
First case will be more, and second case
More
will
punishment. Less. So when you commit truthfully that yes, I did that mistake, now please be mild upon me, then the parents will calm down, right?
Yeah.
So Krishna is teaching how to calm down parents. Okay, so not to speak lie or to cook up, stories, but to honestly say, okay, I did that mistake and I'm sorry. Please calm down. That's exactly what Krishna is doing here, is it not? And he is using his secret weapon, crying tears, right, to melt the heart of Mother Yashoda. Already the stick which she had in her hand, she has given that up, is it not? That's basically the anger has come down. The transcendental anger has come down. Seeing the beauty, seeing that little Krishna who has accepted the mistake, as Prabhupada writes, admitted to being an offender. and he saw that and Mata saw that Krishna was crying, his tears were flowing, he was doing like this, rubbing Muhu Shwasakam Patri Rekam Kakanta Rudantam Muhur Netra. So he's rubbing his two eyes, and the mascara is coming. And in seeing all that Leela, Mata's anger has subsided. This is the beautiful Leela here. So, in short, Krishna committed his offense. He's not cooking up stories. So this is the transcendental sweet exchange of between Krishna and his devotee. Jnanis, yogis cannot understand that. Who can understand that? Bhaktas. And in this way, Krishna inundates his devotees in the nectar of joyful pastimes. Let's read the third verse from Ashtakam, Damodar Ashtakam. Anyone who has not yet read today? Okay. Yes, Poonam Mataji, you want to try?
It's Devaki Mataji.
Oh, yes.
Sorry.
You come in different names.
My
Yeah.
daughter has, sorry to disturb you again. My daughter has changed everything from UK. So haven't settled yet, you see. Sorry for that.
Fine.
Yes.
Please.
Idika swalilabe ananda kunde swagosham nimajantam akhiyapayantam tadiyeshu tyajaneshu bhakti jitadvam puna prematastam sata vitirande.
Yeah.
By such childhood pastimes as this, he is drowning the inhabitants of Gokula in pools of ecstasy and is revealing to those devotees who are absorbed in knowledge of his supreme majesty and opulence that he is only conquered by devotees whose pure love is imbued with intimacy and is free from all conceptions of awe and reverence. With great love, I again offer my obeisances to Lord Damodar, hundreds and hundreds of times.
Hare Krishna, thank you so much. Isn't that amazing?
Yes, of course.
He is drowning, iti drikswalila, by his own pastimes. Ananda kunde, ananda ke kunde mein, ocean of happiness, pool of happiness, he is drowning. By hearing these pastimes, devotees drown in the ocean of happiness. And then he is declaring that he can only be known by bhaktir jitatvam, not by jnana, not by mantra tantra. So this is a beautiful lila going on, and we covered this verse. Mata more putra bhave karena bandhana ati hina jnane kare lalana palana. So Mata Yashoda is chastising Krishna. Krishna has committed an offense. He has admitted his offense. Let's see the next verse and then. Yes, who wants to read this? Anyone wants to read this? Yes. So do you probably want to read? Or Bhaswati Mataji, you can do.
Text 12. Taktva yastim sutam bhitam vignayarvakavatsala ayesha kilatam baddham damanatad vriyakovida. Translation and purport by His Divine Grace, A.C. Bhaktivedanta Swami Prabhupada Ki Jai. Mother Yashoda was always overwhelmed by intense love for Krishna, not knowing who Krishna was or how powerful he was. Because of maternal affection for Krishna, she never even cared to know who he was. Therefore, when she saw that her son had become excessively afraid, she threw the stick away and desired to bind him so that he would not commit any further naughty activities. Purport. Mother Yashoda wanted to bind Krishna not in order to chastise him, but because she thought that the child was so restless that he might leave the house in fear. That would be another disturbance. Therefore, because of full affection to stop Krishna from leaving the house, she wanted to bind him with rope. Mother Yashoda wanted to impress upon Krishna that since he was afraid merely to see her stick, he should not perform such disturbing activities as breaking the container of yogurt and butter and disturbing its contents to the monkeys. Mother Yashoda, distributing the contents to the monkey. Mother Yashoda did not care to understand who Krishna was and how his power spreads everywhere. This is an example of pure love for Krishna. Back to you.
Very well. Thank you so much, Mataji. Any thoughts, any reflections from this verse you have?
So, such a beautiful verse and pure love of a devotee to Krishna. So here Mother Yashoda does not think about that he is the Supreme Lord and she is binding him like his son, her son. And so when pure love, like Krishna in Gokula, his sakhas, his gopis, they never think Krishna as the Supreme Lord. They love the Supreme Lord with like Gobalak, Krishna as a Gobalak. So, and that love is pure love, and Gopi's love is the highest love and they are the highest devotees of Lord Krishna. So that's what's so nicely explained here, that Krishna is also wants to relish the rasha of this motherly love. So that's why he is allowing, and he himself forgets that he is the Supreme Lord, because if he remembers that he is the Supreme Lord, he is the God, then he can't relish that mellow. So he also wants to forget and enjoy the love of his mother, the motherly love. And Yashoda, Mother Yashoda is a pure devotee with this pure love also. She forgot about the lordship of Krishna. Back to you, Prabhuji. Hare Krishna.
Oh, thank you so much, Mataji. So, as we discussed in the Vatsalya Rasa, Mata Yashoda's number is number 1. She's like at the peak of Vatsalya Rasa. There is no tinge of jnana here. Because so it's basically 100% pure unalloyed Krishna prem. It's not mixed with jnana, karmadi, right? What's that verse? Where jnana karmadi comes?
Anavritam.
Yes, what's the full verse?
Jnana karmadi anavritam. Yeah, I forgot.
Punyabhilashita shunyam
Dhyana karma dhyana britam anukulyana Krishna anushilam
bhakti
bhakti
uttamam. This is uttama bhakti.
uttam.
Jnana karma adi is jnana karma etc. It's free from jnana karma adi anavritam. There's no tinge of jnana karma etc. Right? This is uttama bhakti. Comes from Bhakti Rasamrit Sindhu. Anya abhilashita shunya. Anya abhilashita means no other desire. As we discussed, level 2 is desires, to get something. People worship God to get something. Give me health, give me wealth, give me car, give me son, give me daughter, give me wife, give me husband, give me this, give me that. No such desires. This is Uttama Bhakti. Now, a very practical lesson also I feel in this verse. Sometimes parents chastise kids, even to the extent of beating them. And sometimes it gets so I don't know how much it happens in US and now when rules and all things change. I don't know what's currently the rule. But in India, I've seen with my own eyes that sometimes when they start, then only God has to come to stop the parents or the teacher, right? So the lesson is that when we are as a parent or as a teacher or as a teacher for kids, teacher for anyone, when we are trying to say something, it may not be like beating with a stick. It could be verbal correction. It could be Mata Yashoda never wanted to beat Krishna, right? Her intent was not to beat Krishna with a stick. Jagannath Mishra also, when the Brahmana comes, Jagannath Mishra also tries to chastise Nimai, but the intent was not to beat, but to, as mentioned here, so that Krishna would not commit any further naughty activities. That was the intent, to discipline, to teach lesson to the child. So the parents or teacher or anyone, we should always keep the intentions in mind. What is the purpose of chastisement? What is the purpose? Is further to improve their actions. Sometimes, but the parents or the teachers could be so much in the mode of passion themselves that someone expressed anger to them and then they expressed anger to their subordinates. It could be kids, it could be students, it could be someone. And when they come into action, then one after the other, black and blue. So what the purpose is lost. The purpose was to help to improve the child. But if someone, takes a sticks, and it used to happen a lot, I remember. 1, 2, 3, 4, left, right, 10, 20, खटाखट. Oh, एक के बाद एक stick उसको पड़ रहा है. Right? Has anyone seen that, heard that? Right? We all may have seen, experienced, directly, indirectly. The purpose is lost. What I show, the scriptures are teaching us. Even it could be sometimes not physical, it could be verbal also, right? Same thing. What is the purpose of that? The purpose, the intent is to improve, help in child's betterment. But when we use anger, are we using anger or are we being used by anger? This is what we have to reflect upon. Mata Yashoda here is using anger to teach Krishna lesson. But often in material world, when people, parents, teachers, materialists, they are speaking or trying to, correct, they become in the grip of anger, then nothing good can come out of it. So using anger is different from being used by anger. Hanuman used anger. He was not under the grip of anger. If we are under the grip of anger, then no good thing will come out of that exchange, either physical, verbal, whatever it is. Only things will worsen. So we can learn that lesson from Jagannath Mishra, Yashoda Mata, etc. So she realized that my child is anyways feeling repentant, right? When the person is feeling repentant, then why to kind of further traumatize that? They're already sad about the mistake they did, right? They already committed the offense they have did. Now beating him with 10 sticks will not improve the situation. They already know, okay, they did the mistake, they repented about it, they're crying, they're showing their, then why to further? So she immediately, the concern was now so she gave up the stick. And then basically, because the drive here is love. The motivation is not to really punish the child. The motivation is to love the child. And sometimes punishment is actually a higher exchange of love. In Hindi they say jo apne hote hain unhi ko to daatte. If a stranger's child, if a child in the street, let's say is let's say you go to a shopping complex, and some child is running here, running there, and throwing things and doing that. Will you bother to say anything? Right? You say, okay, I'll mind my own business and do what I have to do. Right? But if our child is doing that, running here, running there, throwing things, and picking things left and right and throwing, then there's a need to discipline there. So the point is out of love, out of concern, to genuine love for the child. So here the dormant factor is the love. Pure love. Prabhupada is writing, this is an example of pure love for Krishna. She did not care to know about Krishna. Know about in the sense, jnanis and yogis are focused about, tattva, jnana, knowledge, this, that. Their focus is knowledge. But here in bhakti, the focus is loving devotional service. Okay. Any more thoughts, comments, reflections? Anyone has?
So, Prabhuji, in this verse, Annabilasa Shunnam, Gyanakarmate Anabhikam, this is mainly focusing on the Gyanakanda and Karmakanda. But devotee can have like knowledge and karma yoga because those are connecting to the Lord, right? That is different than this verse.
Correct. Yes, Prabhupada in this verse is not referring to yoga. This word yoga is used different places, different meaning. So they're the jnanis, karmis, those who focus more on that. They're not in karma yoga also. Sometimes Prabhupada is referring to bhakti yoga there. Sometimes it's referring to akarma, sometimes sakarma. So we have to understand. there are different degradations of or levels of karma also. But ultimately, bhakti yoga is the highest. Bhakti yoga is highest. And that does not mean that, as we discussed yesterday also, that bhakti yoga does not mean to sit and just whole day read Bhagavatam. Bhakti yoga, they do action also. Bhakti yogas study scriptures also. Bhakti yogis work also. Bhakti yogis, have family also. Right? The motivation is to loving devotional service, connecting with Krishna through knowledge, Jnana Yoga. Connecting with Krishna through work, Karma Yoga. When we say Jnana Yoga, we're not referring to Jnanis actually. That's also Jnanis, when we say generally Jnanis, we are referring to those who focus more on the Paramatma realization as we discussed yesterday. So it could be sometimes confusing because the words are similar, but different meanings are implied based on the context it is used in. In Bhagavad Gita, the word yoga is used maybe 100 times, right? The word bhakti yoga is also used multiple times. The word karma yoga is also used multiple times. The word karma can have 5 meanings in Bhagavad Gita itself, based on what chapter, what purport Prabhupada is referring. Therefore, we have to be mindful of that.
So, Jnana Yoga and Karma Yoga helps to be better bhakti actually.
Karma yoga, Jnana yoga helps to do better bhakti. Can you a little bit elaborate?
Like, I can do blindly bhakti, but if I know the connection, soul, Paramatma, action, inaction, so that way, as a devotee, I can find out which work should I do, which work I should not do. So I can choose the better one that will connect me with the Lord.
Then that's bhakti yoga. That's bhakti yoga. Karma Yoga, Jnana Yoga, if one continues to do nicely, one will transcend to the ladder of Bhakti Yoga. Bhakti Yoga is the topmost. And yes, Bhakti Yoga, when done with knowledge, it's healthy, helpful. Yes, absolutely. Okay, so let's try to memorize that verse. So you can try between the it's weekend. So that 1.3 sorry, Chaitanya Caritāmṛta 1.4.24. Mata more putra bhave karena bandhana ati hina gyane kare lalana palana. So Mata has caught Krishna. She's want to punish Krishna, to teach. And how she wants to punish? She wants to bind Krishna. Desired to bind him with a rope, but dum damna atirya atatvirya govida. So we will see later if she is successful in binding Krishna or not in the upcoming verses. But let's meditate so far till these. Grantraj Śrīmad-Bhāgavatam Purana ki jai, Śrīla Prabhupada ki jai, Samaveta Gaura Bhaktavinda ki jai. Vanchakalpatarubhyascha kripasindubhya evacha patitanam bhavanebhyo vaishnavibhyo namo namo. Thank you so much. Hare Krishna, Jai Śrīla Prabhupada.
Krishna.
Hare Kṛṣṇa.
Thank you so much, Prabhuji.